we're just going to go over some very simple 2-on-1 assist. So if Barney tried to hump and bump JP, the defence that people do against the hump and bump is this. They just turn to face the person who's trying to hump and bump them, and this doesn't go well. From here, all I do coming in is I just step over and I pump his hip down, and then we both get onto his back, and then there, and just take it to the floor. Now, where this also can come in is even without the hump and bump, so just be rest, basically just like rest. It can also come in here. Now, what we're seeing too much of, and I want people to stop doing this so much, is attempting the head rip. Now, what's happening is head rip was very, very, very effective for a short period of time because nobody was defending it. Back with the rail, head rip didn't work because you could just hook the rail, so it just didn't work at all. And then we went to this tabletop. The head rip's been very effective, but now everyone's just hiding their head, or they're keeping a hand next to their head, because if JP has a hand next to his head, even if his head was up, if I went here, I can't get it, and he can just use the hand to push it off, and I can't get it. So now everyone's either here when they're wrestling, or the head's down. And so you're seeing everyone run around, attempt head rips, and they're just failing. This can also just be used here. If these two are just wrestling, here, all it does is bring his head down from here to here, and we can get on his back. And it's just hand on his shoulder, I step in. It's not the knee, that's not really going to do much. Plus, if I did do that and hurt his knee, I could potentially be sat down by marshals and bending the knee in this direction and all that. It's here on the inside of the hip. There, and I pivot out, and Barney just puts pressure on. Maybe he falls over like that happens sometimes. Other times, all it does is just bring his head down, and then we both get on top and we just pull it. But like I said, this particularly is effective on the failed hump bump. Barney goes in, JP turns up here, I slide in, here, get on it, here. So just without Barney involved, so you can all see it. And here, I just put one hand across the shoulder, in there, I pop the hip back, this leg pivots, and that walks his other leg backwards, like that. Like I said, hopefully, if it goes well, it goes straight to the floor. If it doesn't, he's at least bent. So you go into a back right, here. And once you're on his back, you just grab his arse, and just fall to the floor like that, in one-on-one. Just make sure that when you go to the arse, you've got to reach deep. Round, you pull the arse. Deep for the head. Okay, just the thing, we call this a twister, for obvious reasons. And then you want the back, we call this back right. So here, you can just ride on the back. You have control over them. So, in your groups, you're going to be going through this 2-on-1. Your partner's going to go for a hump and bump. Slowly, this person will defend it. And then obviously, the second you defended it, Barney should say yours, so I know it's failed. And then, here, both on top, finish him off.
In that situation, so you also sweep the foot and jump. So you kick his foot because he's put his weight on his foot. Do you not kick that foot?
Well, this.
Yeah.
So the only issue with that is he's holding on to Barney. If I kick this out, like that, he tends to hop, and he's holding Barney. So sometimes do wrong, it might do. I've just found that it's less successful. From here, if I come in and I pop the hip there, I found that it puts him in a bad position, breaks his posture, and makes it really easy to get on top of him. And then even if somebody else, Barney had to let go to fight somebody else, because JP's in this position now, I can finish it quite easily. Well, if I run in, and I've seen this happen quite a lot, you do that, and that's what happens to his leg. And then from there, then you're okay, now I need to do something else. Don't get me wrong, if you're running by, maybe you're chasing, that almost on the run, useful. But when you're coming in 2-on-1, quite often, because we hug each other so much, sweeping the legs like that is not so effective. Because JP can almost lift both legs off the floor and just hold Barney that way. You know? So that's why personally I just don't go to the sweeps very often, 2-on-1 like that. I find sweeps being slightly more effective, let go. If it's a bit of a surprise and they're not actually holding each other, they're kind of there. Because then when I come in and it's a surprise, Barney can just push him, and then it just goes. Okay, so just grab partners. Again, try and grab people that are not part of your club. So you go around. Remember, it's not the knee. If you come in too low, one, it's not actually that effective. it doesn't move the leg as much, and he just does this. 2, because of our rules, if I do that and hurt him, I've done an illegal move because I've bent his joint back, gives an extra direction, like if he sat down. You want to make sure you come in high into the groin there and do that. And then, like I said, you need to have weight on the back of your shoulder here so that he goes down like this to go over. What's happening a little bit is just the way some people are defending the hubble bump. So if Barney goes for the hubble bump, and JP turn the other way, sorry, and but JP decides to turn the other way, turn toward me. Yeah? This doesn't actually defend the hubble bump. If Barney starts pivoting out, bear in mind we're 2-on-1, I press, that doesn't defend the hubble bump. It does temporarily make it feel a bit stickier, and particularly because we're drilling with low resistance, it makes it feel like it defends. But if you try and defend hubble by turning away from the person who's doing it, you're actually just sitting yourself into the position that he wants you in the first place. In this situation, I wouldn't go for a twister. If all I would do is just push, so that when Barney starts pivoting out, the guy just falls into it. So if in your group somebody tries to defend it that way, which is bad, just finish it by pushing them. Okay. Just as a point, just step out a second. There's a couple of ways of defending the hubble bump, but the most effective one is just turning into it, because now I'm jammed underneath his hip. Potentially, I have this counter here, just to pull him over, like that. Or if I have time, I can turn here and be in this position. It depends on, obviously, timings, etc. But you always want to turn towards the person doing a hubble bump to defend yourself, because trying to turn away really doesn't defend you. You know, because if I turn here, I can't actually do much about it at this point. And that's the position you want to be in the first place. So continue going through. If someone tries to defend it that way by turning away from you, don't try the twister, instead just push the person and just help finish the hubble bump instead. Preferably don't defend it that way. Yeah, it's not a defense, it's actually basically just a suicide at that point. Just you didn't realise what was happening. Okay? When you're entering into the twister, guys, I heard some people say that they were getting the front of the knees hit. It means you're not going deep enough. If I was entering into a twister on Barney, on Barney here, I'm coming up and it's there. And look how high my knee goes. I generally recommend you can fit into tighter gaps if you bring your knee up and comes through. And look how I hit his hip. Don't keep your foot low and do that. You can always hit the knee, and it's not a very strong movement. It jams up. I hit quite a few twisters on people because they're wrestling, and I literally came in here like this through the hip, and they just went.